Halakha Pesuka from Chok Israel for Wednesday, Parashat Vayetze. היה לפניו עשיית מצווה ותלמוד תורה. If he had in front of him two things to do, either the possibility of learning Torah or doing a mitzvah. אם אפשר המצווה לעשות על ידי אחרים, if the mitzvah can be done through other people, לא יפסיק תלמודו, he should not stop his learning, but rather continue learning and let the mitzvah be done through someone else. ואם לאו, if the mitzvah cannot be done by another person, יעשה המצווה ויחזור לתלמודו. Then he will go to do the mitzvah first, and then goes back to learning. כתוב בתורה לא בשמיים היא ולא מעבר לים היא. In the Torah it says that Torah is not in heaven, in the skies, and not beyond the seas. לא בשמיים היא לא בגסי הרוח. What does it mean it's not in the skies? One of the explanations here means לא בגסי הרוח היא מצויה. It's not found in those who are arrogant, who are haughty. ולא במלכי מעבר לים היא. And it's not found amongst those who travel the seas. לפיכך אמרו חכמים, that's why חכמים says, לא כל המרבה בסחורה מחכים. Not everyone that adds and does more business, more commerce, goes on trips to buy merchandise, to sell, not everybody that does that mahkim would become wise. וציוו חכמים, that's why חכמים commanded us or advised us, הווה במעט בעסק ועסק בתורה. They should lessen the occupation in work in order to learn more Torah. So in other words, during the day we have our waking hours should not all be dedicated to work. We should actually lessen some of the work activities so that we can dedicate more time to learning Torah. כל המשים על ליבו שיעסוק בתורה ולא יעשה מלאכה. However, the other extreme is also no good. He said any person that thinks he's going to only learn Torah ולא יעשה מלאכה, and he will not be doing any work, any type of earning a living, ויתפרנס מן הצדקה, and he will just rely to be supported by charity. הרי זה חילל את השם וביזה את התורה. Such a person, חילל את השם, desecrates God's name, וביזה את התורה, he denigrates the Torah, וחיבה מאור הדת, and he extinguishes the light of the religion, וגרם רעה לעצמו, he causes evil to himself, ונטל חייו מן העולם הבא, and he removes his life from the world to come, לפי שאסור ליהנות בדברי תורה בעולם הזה, because it's forbidden to benefit from the words of Torah in this world. So here it speaks about the idea that a person should be very careful not to rely on just the fact that he's learning Torah and to ask people to support him with charity. That would be wrong. A person should be involved in earning a living at the same time as he learns Torah. Of course, if a person can be involved in earning a living through Kodesh, through being involved in holy endeavors, whether it is, in yeshiva, as a Rabbi, or other activities that are Kodesh, that would be very, very good. But each person, according to his line of profession, to his line of work, and we know from Rambam, who wrote this Halakha here, that he was not only an incredible sage and Torah scholar, he was also by occupation a medical doctor. There are many other examples. Rashi, who was the commentator on the Torah, was a wine merchant, and many other examples of great luminaries of Torah sages who also had activities that they earned a living by. Of course, there's also activities like being a dayan, a judge in a rabbinic court, etc. There are many other activities that can be involved in Kodesh, but the idea of this Rambam here is that a person should not say, I'm going to learn Torah and I'm going to rely on the charity and support of tzedakah. אמרו חכמים, כל הנהנה מדברי תורה נוטל חייו מן העולם. Our sages said, whoever benefits from the words of Torah takes his life from this world. והציוו ואמרו, they said, אל תעשם עטרה להתגדל בהם. Don't make the Torah and words of Torah as a crown that to aggrandize yourself. Velo kardom lahpor ba, and not a spade to dig with. In other words, not use Torah or the fact that the person is a learned in Torah to go and ask for certain favors, or ask for discounts, or ask for anything that would make a difference. Don't use it as an excuse, as Henry is saying here. Ve'ot tzivu ve'amru, Hachamim also commanded and said, Ehov et ha-melacha, love work or activity that involves in terms of earning a living, usna et rabbanut, and hate a position of authority. Torah, in other words, don't impose your authority on others, hate that kind of approach or that kind of position. Torah, any Torah that doesn't have with it work, so far betela, at the end, you will become not there, betela, you'll be cancelled, vegoreret avon, and will cause sin. Adam zeh she'em elestam et haberiyot. End of such a person is that he will steal from other people. This Rambam is very, very harsh here in terms of that the Torah should not be something to benefit a person, but rather should be something, of course, that a person should be involved in and continue to learn, like he said, dedicate more time to learning Torah and less time to activity, but at the same time, the person has to be careful not to use it for his own benefit. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.
It's a big question.
We had a question that came up here. How about those people? Are there any exceptions? That there would be somebody who would be so scholarly, would be such a genius in terms of his capacity in learning and teaching Torah, that we would ask him to dedicate all his time to learning, because we would benefit from his scholarly. Just you have like researchers in any field, Amavdil ben Kodesh Lechol, that there would be some unique situations where there would be some people that we would want, Am Yisrael would benefit from them sitting and learning all day long, so that they would be able to have that scholarly knowledge to share with us. And these would be, of course, exceptions, I guess.